Hi, I want to show you the latest update of Read Markdown that I've implemented, which is basically a macOS, a free macOS app that allows you to create a game plan, talk to Codex first of all, and create a game plan similar to plan mode in Markdown. So basically, if you plan a new feature, and we're going to do that together in a moment, I'll show you how it looks like. I have it open right here in dark mode. So basically, you open a file located in your project, a markdown file whatsoever, and the app will scan all markdown files in that directory. Optionally, through the settings, you can also say, well, scan deeper. So it scans also subdirectories and lists all markdown files. The gist is you want to have your markdown files on the left and be able to view them, and you want to have Codex on the right and ask Codex to update it accordingly. So when you plan a new feature, like me, for example, you want to say, hey, create a new feature.md file and outline in great detail how to implement a floating face cam macOS app, right? And so it does that. Then you see what it says, and then you can review it, and you can make updates to it by talking to Codex and say, I don't like how you structured the code here. Please structure it this way. I don't think we need to use this API. Why don't we use that, right? Why are we, for example, creating our own empty view state? Why don't we use the SwiftUI provided empty view state? Stuff like that. Once you have reviewed and steered and outlined your game plan for your feature, and you like what you see and the way it's being approached, then you can go and say, Codex, please go and implement that feature. And it will very well one-shot it or be very close to like 80, 90%. Oftentimes for me, 100% depending on the size of the feature. If it's medium size, it's really good at one-shotting it, and it just works, and you just like fine-tune it in terms of design or some hiccups. Because for example, I have like the responses, and there's a small corner there, right? You see that? So it one-shotted that feature, but there was a small corner. It just did the code base is right here. It says overlay rounded rectangle, and I just added clip shape myself, like just one line. I could have also asked Codex to do that, but takes 1 second for me to add this, and takes 10 seconds for Codex to think about it, update the code base just for one line. We can code it ourselves, but you get the gist. So I want to show you how that looks like. Right now, I have a new feature I want to implement, which is maintaining context. Right now, I don't maintain context between each prompt. Right here, whenever I say something, Codex answers and then forgets about what it said because the session has ended. And how I maintain context so far is by appending all that has been said by me and by Codex into the next command, into the next prompt. But that's not real context, because that just gives Codex context of what have been said. But if I ask Codex, for example, to scan the code base, that kind of context is lost. So I want to maintain context, and I outlined here in great detail how to implement that with the help of Codex. And here I basically say, go review this, optimize this approach, review the code base, and then go back in here and make sure every approach is like the best possible. And once you've done that, go execute. So we can see how Codex is thinking here. Confirming no skill needed for file read. I have skills where I say Swift UI coding skills and Swift coding skills in order to maintain an architecture and file naming and function writing all consistently in my code base. I like pure functions. I like the view model architecture. I like separation of concerns, which means view model has logic and the view only is view responsible for view stuff, and barely any logic, if any, in there. So that's what the skills are for. And then, yeah, every thought process is being appended. You will see like a small indication that this is the current thought process Codex is working on, just so you're not waiting around, not seeing anything happening. So it's more interesting. This is how the chat looks like. Noting missing coding guidelines. Swift coding guideline is required next. Cool. It will pick up my skill. We'll see if it will update any stuff in here. I'll be curious to show you how it looks like live, because you can look at your README file as Codex is working on it, and you can review it and say, I don't like these enum cases, let's update them, right? Or I don't like how you are writing this code. So for example, right now it proposes to replace the build prompt approach with a session approach, where we have a session ID if present, which is correct because we want to maintain Codex side context and not build our own prompt context, which is just superficial context. And so let's see. Did it anything evaluate the enum spacing and markdown approach? Oh, look at this. The enum spacing, I wonder if it will do something to the enum spacing. I think the enum spacing in our coding guideline is this way. So this is gonna be fine. Over here, I don't see any problems here too, so it won't update anything there. Planning session mode and event enum refactor. I'm dealing with adding a new session mode. Enum, oh, it's already working in the code base. So it's already doing stuff here. This is what I added. I think, oh, here, see? Send prompt with the new chat session code, which doesn't exist just yet. It will create a new chat session. Provide an event enum. See, it all lands in enum. So it's working on that. Cool. Oh, see, enum actually do have spaces in between. I wonder if it updated my README accordingly too. No, we still see that. All right, fair enough. I could have said, hey, Codex, please apply the coding guideline on the README so we have proper code, but at least it did it when it was working in here. We have all the enum cases like that. Cool beans. Chat servers was updated too to have the new, yeah, so it's just working. Do you see the whole architecture here? I didn't write any code, any of this code. This is the entire app, and it was kind of work to create this architecture and say, hey, you know, everything should have like a model and a service and view model, like abstraction layers, and I put everything into skill too. But that's beside the point. The point is really using a markdown file to outline a feature in great detail, working on it live with the help of Codex, not using execution plan or plan mode of Claude, because that's really just terminal. I mean, you can if you want to. I like Markdown so much better because I have code highlighting, I have structuring, I have headers and subheaders. I can read it better and I can review it. And in Terminal, really, if I have plan mode for myself, I just see it in one plain color, not well structured, and have to scroll up, read through it, and then scroll down and say, hey, Codex, this section I don't really like, can you update it? And then it will print it again and scroll up and whatnot. I just prefer a file, a read markdown file. And so this app allows you to work with it like that. And that's basically it. You can download it for free. Again, I have added WishKit here, so you can actually see what features are planned. You can suggest features, upvote features you like to see, like support for Claude. Right now, it only supports Codex, but it should be easy for me to just implement a drop-down here to switch between Codex and Claude and let you know, hey, you haven't installed Claude, go ahead, do that before we continue, stuff like that. And you can also use Terminal. You can enable Terminal. It'll be right in the directory of your files, and you can use Terminal to do whatever you like. It's native in here. I might phase it out in favor of the chat here because that's so much nicer, but for now it's still there. And again, full scan mode, you'll see it will scan deeper into the read markdown directory or just the top level. Check it out. Let me know what you think and suggest features, and I'll catch you in the next video.